Greetings everybody, Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another one of my Richard's Rock Rambles. So we're carrying on checking out some of my rather small collection of jazz rock fusion. And today's episode, one of the albums is especially for a good friend of mine, Vanna, who's requested the first guy we're going to have a look at here today. And that being Stanley Clarke, bassist extraordinaire. Played with the band Return to Forever, also had some amazing solo albums, still releasing today as far as I'm aware. I know Return to Forever a few years back got back together, there was a reunion, but he's still pretty active, I think. And the album we're going to chat about from Stanley Clarke is actually his second album, and I thought this was his debut, but I was wrong. This is actually his second album, simply called Stanley Clarke. And there he is playing his fretless bass. And my other favorite bass guitarist, I love a bass guitar. To me, that's the meat and potatoes of any band. You know, your rhythm section, your drums and your bass. The other guy that I really enjoy is Jaco Pastorius. Of course, Weather Report, and also Joni Mitchell and a whole bunch of other people that he played for. But he played a lot more fretless. He does play fretless, Stanley Clarke, but he plays more of this sort of, I think they call it a piccolo bass. Sort of on the high end of things, very fast-picking, incredible player. Excuse me, I need my coffee. Early morning here. He also plays an acoustic bass on here, on side 2. It's a bit more mellow, the second side. There's an orchestra involved as well, so it's got more of a lush feel to it. But the first side is just smoking. Some of the stuff on there is... I took a listen to this last night again because, when you review an album, you want to, refresh your memory a bit. And I hadn't listened to this album in many years. And it just blew me away again. Production is really good. I think he produced it himself, produced and arranged by Stanley Clarke, yeah. So let's have a look at this. There's nothing much inside. It's just a... It's not a gatefold, it's just a normal vinyl. Let's just go through who's in the band here. So Stanley Clarke's there, obviously electric bass, acoustic piano on Yesterday, Princess, vocals and fuzz phaser. I'm assuming that's something that he's attached to his bass. Then here's a name that should ring some bells, Jan Hammer. He played with Jeff Beck, played with his own band. He's played with many people. So he's here on Moog synthesizer, electric piano, organ, and acoustic piano. And he brings a lot of those nice deft touches to the tracks. A bit of melody on the piano, synths here and there. Just the right timing. And he's a great keyboardist. Then another standout on this album is the drummer, Tony Williams. Of course, he had his own band, Tony Williams, Lifetime. And he's there on drums. Unbelievable stuff. I'll get into that in a second. And then also really good on guitar is a guy called Bill Connors on electric guitar and acoustic guitar. And I wasn't aware of it, that Bill Connors was actually in Return to Forever before Aldo Meola. I thought Aldo Meola was there from the beginning, but no, Bill Connors was there prior to Aldo Meola. And then in the string section on side 2, you've got a whole bunch of people here. I'm not going to read out all the names. There's about 10 or 11 names here, as well as a brass section. So like I said, that's quite a filled out sound on that second side. And it's recorded at Electric Ladyland Studios. Of course, that's Hendrix' studio that was built for him way back in the early 70s in New York. Engineered by Ken Scott. What else can I tell you? Not much really. And like I said, produced and arranged by Stanley Clarke on Nemperor Records in 1974. So the first track, Vulcan Princess. Yeah, this is sort of jaw-dropping stuff. Incredible bass work, as you would come to expect from Stanley Clarke. And it's just a cat saying hello. Then you got a track called Yesterday Princess, and that's the one track on here which doesn't work for me. It's got him singing, Stanley Clarke, not the world's best vocalist, incredible musician, but not a great singer. And it's a kind of a throwaway track for me. It's not very long. I think it's about 1 minute and 41 seconds. And to follow on from Vulcan Princess, where you really worked up the drumming and everything is cooking, and then you sort of, you get into that one. Then the best track on the album for me, Lopsy Lou. Time changes, great musicianship, everything you want from a jazz rock fusion album. And it then goes into the track Power, which has got some incredible drumming at the beginning from Tony Williams. Triplets and all sorts of things going on in the drumming. Then we get into side 2, Spanish Phases for String and Bass. That's the more orchestral track that I was talking about. Quite lengthy. I think that goes on for 6 minutes. It was 6 minutes 28. And then you got a track called Life Suite to finish things out. And that track also has this recurring bass line, which is quite infectious. It sticks in your brain. And hey, you can see the tail. A great album. I'm really glad I've chosen to talk about this one because, like I said, I hadn't listened to it for many years. And the only other one I have is the one behind me that you can see, Rocks, Pebbles and Sand, that I have of Stanley Clarke. So I need to collect a lot more. There's another album, I can't think of the name now, where he has Jeff Beck on it, and he actually has a track called Song for Jeff. So there's a few more that I need to get, but this is a great one, his second album. Speaking about seconds, the second album we're going to chat about is a gentleman who played with Frank Zappa for quite a while. I think Overnight Sensation, that was one of the albums he played, as well as some live stuff. JeanLuc Ponte, the violinist, electric violinist. Oh, there's the old Musica import sticker there. So this record's been around the block. That's a really old, I used to work for Musica, the record store here in Cape Town. Chain of music stores. Worked for them for many years, and that was one of the old import stickers they used to stick on. And there he is, JeanLuc Ponte. I first heard this at a buddy's place many years ago, and I was still a confirmed metalhead at the time, but I thought, geez, this album is really good. I wasn't expecting it to, resonate with me, but it did, and I struggled long and hard, and I eventually found this at a vinyl fair after listening to it all those years ago and always wanting to find it. Luckily, I got hold of it. Also, the musicianship on here is incredible. Sorry, I'm talking way too much today. So who's in the band? JeanLuc Ponte, electric violin, 5-string electric violin, Violectra, bells, grand piano on Nostalgic Lady. So he's quite an accomplished musician. Now, how's this for somebody on guitar? Alan Holdsworth, the late great Alan Holdsworth. I mean, UK, you name it, he's played with so many bands. Unbelievable stuff. Daryl Stuermer, lead and rhythm and electric guitars. And I think he played with Genesis. I might be wrong about that, but I think he played with Genesis as well. Ralph Armstrong, electric basses, fretless on Nostalgic Lady. Brilliant bassist as well. Alan Zavod, an organ, synthesizer, electric piano, grand piano and clavinet. And Steve Smith, drums and percussion. Yes, Steve Smith from Journey. Of course, his first love was always been jazz rock fusion. Produced by JeanLuc Ponte, recorded and mixed in June and July 1977. What else can I tell you? This album is dedicated to Clara and Valerie, whoever they may be. I hadn't had a chance to listen to this again last night, but what I can remember is the first track, Overture, very good. The Trance Love Express, that's one of the better tracks on here. The electric violin work obviously is top-notch. The whole album, Mirage. Then you've got a track 4, which has got different parts. Enigmatic Ocean, which is the name of the album. So there's 4 parts to that, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. And there's a solo from Alan Holdsworth, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, that guy played lead like nobody else. He's like Zappa. He almost had his own style. To try and replicate Alan Holdsworth is almost impossible. And part 2, you had Daryl Stuermer, I think that's how you say his name. And he did the lead break on that one. Side 2, Nostalgic Lady, also with solos with JeanLuc Ponte and Alan Holdsworth. And then how's this for a title for a track? The Struggle of the Turtle to the Sea. Also 3 parts. And so it's pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tracks, but they're quite lengthy, some of the ones on the second side especially. If you're into jazz rock fusion, you need this. This gentleman is such an accomplished musician, and also really well produced by JeanLuc Ponte, and composed, orchestrated, and conducted by JeanLuc Ponte. So this is very much his baby. There's a lot of melody, there's a lot of intricate time changes, and yeah, just top shelf stuff. So there we go. That's the second album, Stanley Clarke and JeanLuc Ponte. I'll have to dig deep now because, as I said, I don't have the world's biggest collection of jazz rock fusion, but I think I have still got a few others that I need to chat about. Some which may sort of cross over into the progressive rock side, but like I said, there is a bit of a crossover between those two genres, jazz rock fusion and progressive rock, in my view. I mean, you guys might differ. Please let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, it'll be great to hear from you. Have yourselves a great week. It's still been raining. I'm so tired of the rain now. The sun can come. You know, all our dams are 100% full. We got enough rain. Thank you very much. But no, it still comes. And you know, if it rains, then I can't take the dog for a walk. And then I have that moaning all day long. Having pets is such fun. Okay, guys. Have a great week. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe, and down below, give me a thumbs up. Any comments, more than welcome. And I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.